Hey, my audience on Dominus Nisi. This is Bismi on 23rd day of this series. So I'm having a great person at the same time. She's the founder and director of Living on the Spectrum. So let me invite Anita to this show. Welcome, Anita.
Thank you, Bismi. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat.
Thank you. So, Anita, living on the spectrum, and then you're already mentioning that it is related to autism directory. But I would really love to start from the Anita, who you are, what is this living on spectrum?
Thanks for that. Well, first and foremost, I am the mother of three amazing neurodivergent children. And I always struggle about saying how many children I have because I do have a fourth child who passed away as a baby. So I am the mother of four, but I have three amazing, beautiful neurodivergent children. And when my son was about 12 years old, he was diagnosed as autistic. And
Mhm.
I went on Google to try and find some information, and there was no central platform to find all the information I needed. And I got very overwhelmed and very stressed as a parent. So I decided I would build Australia's very first autism directory called Living on the Spectrum, and that launched just over 5 years ago now. So we are the first autism directory to launch in Australia, which was very exciting that I built.
Wow, that's I do like, and I do work in healthcare, and then I do know that different registries are the different type of any type of diagnosis. They build a registry and then do the follow up, do the help and services. So is that something similar that you built this registry and then help the people who are going through the spectrum?
Yeah, so but I really describe the platform as like the Google for autism and neurodiversity. So
Mhm.
we don't actually do referrals as such, but what we try and do is we try and make it easy for parents and carers and
Mm.
neurodivergent individuals. So autism or ADHD looking for supports. We just make it easier for parents and carers and people to find supports
Mm.
and information because we do lots of stories.
Yeah.
And we just try and help people because I don't know if you've ever felt this way. You get into what's called, I like to call doom scrolling, where you get on the internet and you
Yeah.
find all the bad stuff about,
Mm.
autism and ADHD. It could be about anything. I know if you're ever feeling ill, you always get on Google and you always come out with the worst things ever.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that we were giving really valid, genuine, quality information
Mhm.
to people looking for support so they could find it in like a one-stop shop, so to speak, one platform. And I wanted to make it free.
That's an awesome way because I know that if you are already on that spectrum, you are having high level of stress, and at the same time, finance is another one. So how do we, if we have a child or a person having on the spectrum, how do we connect with you, like register to this registry? What is the process for that?
Well, it's very easy, isn't it? All you have to do is go to the Living on the Spectrum website, which is just
Uh-huh.
livingonthespectrum.com,
Mm-hmm.
and you can access the directory straight away. There is no red tape you need to
Yes,
go
sir.
through. There's no
Okay.
fees. I don't need any information. You can really access the site 24 hours a day on
Mm-hmm.
your phone or on your laptop, and you can come and go as you please to use it. So I wanted to make it as easy as possible for people to get information.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, you can treat us like Google.
Mm-hmm.
You can just search by us via state. We
Yeah.
actually have supports all throughout Australia and,
Mm-hmm.
in fact, the UK at the moment. We're actually branching out, and you can read lots of stories. And because I'm neurodivergent myself, I'm
Mm-hmm.
very aware that I want to make sure that the quality of information that gets out is very neuroaffirming. So
Mm-hmm.
we're not all doom and gloom. We really want to sort of highlight not only the struggles that neurodivergent and autistic people have, but also to celebrate their strengths. Because
Mm.
I often say, who came up with this idea that we have to be a particular way, and who said that what is normal? Because I always say normal should just be a setting on a washing machine. Who was it that actually said, who actually said that we have to be a particular way? So I
Okay.
want everybody to feel that they are
Yeah,
strengths, but
no.
But also, also acknowledge that as parents and parents and carers, there are some really hard times, and
Mm.
to sort of help navigate that with some really great information.
Yeah, I do believe that no one is normal. Everyone got some abnormality in some way. Some maybe, hidden disability or hidden abnormality, but everyone got some or other. But for our listeners to be clear, Anita, can you give us a bit more idea about what are the categories will come under that neurodivergent area, like in that spectrum? I mean, autism is a name that everywhere everyone knows about it, and many different theories and researches and everything is happening. But what is the whole bunch of people will come under this platform?
Yeah. So you're right. Autism is probably the most well-known
Mm,
um, category under that umbrella. But I should say that neurodiversity actually refers to everybody's brain type. Everybody in the world comes under the umbrella of neurodiversity, because not no two brains are the same. It's just the diversity of everybody. Some might be very artistic. Someone might like a particular genre of music. Some might be, maths orientated, while other people are literature orientated. So that is what neurodiversity is. And when we say that someone is neurodivergent,
mm,
that often refers to someone who doesn't fit into that sort of neurotypical, or, that dreaded word normal. They don't fit into that particular box.
mm,
And those, we often think of autistic individuals,
mm,
people with ADHD, people with dyslexia and dysgraphia. I have dysgraphia myself, which means actually I can't write properly. My handwriting
mhm,
is quite messy, and I have difficulty holding a pen.
mhm,
It also, things like Tourette's, mental health, anxiety, are all sort of examples of when someone refers to someone as neurodivergent, when their neurotype varies from what is typical, I
mm,
suppose, is a great way to do it. So anything that is anybody's brain that is sort of not typical is
mm.
neurodivergent.
Yeah, okay. So that's sort of like, like a big area, because at this, I would say at this time, it's more of like that inclusive mindset is coming up, and people are ready to accept that I have this issue. I need some support, and they're looking forward to find out different areas that can be useful and specific. And it may be something really simple like the steps if I feel this mindset, or steps to identify this autism, or am I on this spectrum, or am I going from here to, all different things. I do remember my son always, came to me one day, said, Mom, you know what, I am on ADHD on the border level, so I can't really study because I did some test in the Google and it's showing that I'm the spectrum. So I said, okay, the spectrum is there, but you have to be consistent with your one, because in the current digital world, there are many different things that is available which we can't really trust. But like a registry like yours is like, you have that real first-hand experience, and then you were working with many people and then giving this information. So you're doing really good thing. But before going to my normal questions about mothers, I would love to check with you. I know that if you have gone through many different people having autism and gone through the scientific background and the reasoning and the medical reasoning, all those ones. Recently, I think maybe a couple of years ago, there was a bit of like a controversial thing going on in the religious area, especially from Asian countries, that the autism is a response from God because parents were going through sinful life while pregnant. And then I was also involved in the conversations, and then going totally going against that finding from this religious people. So my question is like, do you have like a real reasoning or medical reasoning behind the autism? Because um, many people still believe it's because of the sinful habit of the parents. What's your thought?
You're right. Back when autism was first documented and put into what we call the DSM, which is the Psychiatric Manual of Conditions, and going back even before that. So that sort of happened in the 80s, 1980s, where autism really became a diagnosis.
Mm.
But before that, autism was thought to be caused by what the term used to be called refrigerator mothers. So
Mhm.
they thought that autism was caused by mothers not being affectionate to their children,
Mm.
causing their children to not communicate well and sort of be detached.
Mm.
That was the theory. It has since been proven that that's not the case. We're not blaming mothers anymore. That was wrong, and we are learning. There is no reason. There's no specific reasoning why autism is a particular diagnosis or why it's happening. And in fact, there are some circles who think that it's just a natural variation
Mm.
and genetic um, you know, advancement of humanity. So,
Mm.
there are a lot of amazing autistic individuals doing amazing things in the world,
Mm.
and they're both in the arts and both in technology. And there is a lot of people who think that we need autistic individuals, for
Yeah.
the advancement of everything in our world. So
Mm.
that is a really interesting theory. Being a neurodivergent person myself, I really love that, because there is a place for everybody. And that's why I'm thinking that, who made up the rule of what's the normal brain type and what's not the normal brain type? I think we need
Mm.
a diverse range of brains.
Yeah.
There is some research going on that it could be a genetic link.
Mhm.
Um, there's lots of research happening. Nobody is definitively saying that this is why we have autistic individuals. I actually like the fact that it is just a variation of the brain, and there needs to be diversity in the world,
Mhm.
um, for advancement. And an amazing autistic individual by the name of Temple Grandin once said that if it wasn't for autistic people, we'd still be living in a cold, dark cave, wondering how to cook our food.
Yeah, I was like, referring with many other mentors and even the people I do have connected with a firm back in Dubai. They're looking at all these autistic people and their behaviors. And they identified that the autistic people is really concentrating on that one thing into that highest way, and they perform the best. And then I can, relate what you mentioned, because that's where all different things are coming up, and the attention span to that specific area for them is really high. So understand how we think that way. Like, if you understand, okay, this person got this area, that's where he needs to do or she needs to put her effort. That's where the best outcome that we will get, right? So I
It
just
is, and
wanna.
I don't think you could actually, you can't look at someone and tell that they're autistic just by looking at them.
Mhm.
There isn't a particular look for autism, and I think that's where sometimes we make the assumption based on what we see in film and television, or read. We often hear the doom stories or the negative side of it, where there are some really wonderful things that are happening. As an autistic person myself, I find that there are struggles and
Mm.
there are things that I struggle with, but there are amazing things that I can achieve, and I do. And I don't think I would have done it if my brain had been wired differently.
That's really an awesome experience. So I believe that you're the right person to help the people on the similar areas, and then trying to figure out what exactly they're doing. And then you got three kids, and then you're doing this registry. That's where I'm going to start about this Mother's Day series question. How do you keep up this all together?
I don't. I don't. I would be lying. I would be really lying and doing everybody who's listening to this a disservice, because I think social media in particular has made it that it's all smoke and mirrors. And, we only really show our best foot forward on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.
But there are days where I do not hold it together. There are days where I really struggle. There are days where I can't even get out of bed and shower. There are days where I feel like I'm the worst mother in the world. And then I then I have the really wonderful days, where we go on beautiful family vacations. I have adult children now, my youngest is 18, where we're all together and we go on vacation, and the boyfriends come along now and we have fun, and they're the times that I really treasure, and I think, geez, I've done a great job, when we're all together having fun. That's when I think I'm a great mum. But there are other times where I think I'm failing miserably. So do I have it together? How do I balance it? I think I do better on some days than others. I just think it's, I don't think you can beat yourself up about it too much. I just think you have to do the best you can and just really, you know, cherish those really great times and great memories, and those,
Mm.
fun times you have with your kids.
That's great. So I just want to question more on, being an autistic, mindset for you. How do you keep up with the activities that you really love? Because, if you are a mother, you need to stay away from your own ones, but need to put some, impact and then time to your kids. But how do you deal with that moments? Like, being a mother of three, I will be struggling, and then I will be saying to them, I'm mad today, don't come to me. So they will, like, they will know from my actions or my face. So I felt like they are a bit more, like, respectful when I'm in real bad mood or in tiring mood. So, but at the same time, if you are really physically ill, that's actually added into that. So how do you manage that, the expectations from your kids?
Yeah, look, my kids are really great. They, being neurodivergent themselves, we've got a very understanding household in that, we try not to take things to heart when someone's in a grumpy mood, or doesn't want to talk. And I think my kids have known that if, my bedroom door is shut, that I need my sort of relaxation time is where I regulate, is when I'm sort of alone, lying in bed, just relaxing, doing nothing. And
Mm.
then I can sort of reset my brain. And that's the really important time for me. And I think they sort of know that if, mum's in the bedroom and the door's shut, that she just
Mm.
needs some time. And they will text me. They've sort of got a great system where they'll text me. And if I answer the text, great. And if I don't, they know just to
Yeah.
sort of give me a little bit of time, which is really a fantastic thing to do. It's a hard balance. Sometimes
Mm.
some things just can't wait.
Mm.
And, I do need to do stuff, or none of them, only one of my eldest drives, but the two younger ones don't drive yet. So, I'm sort of still running them around. So it's a hard juggle. And I think we just have to get, I think we've got some really good systems that we've all sort of worked out what works for each other.
Mm.
And I think we just try and stick to them and we have to understand that things, I think in my family too, we really know that things can change. So what works one day might not work in another day.
Mm.
So I think we just have to all be patient with each other and not hold on to grudges. So if someone's grumpy,
Yeah.
we just learn that, okay, they were grumpy today, they're not going to be grumpy tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. So you do have like a flexible mindset rather than, parents sometimes will be like having high OCD. You need to be that way all the time. So I believe that it's depending upon the demand, you are really flexible and then dealing that present moment rather than, stuck into that idea of being the perfect moment. Yeah, I understand
Yeah, I don't
that.
think we would run at all if we had such a rigid household. I don't think we would be doing
Hmm.
too good at
Anything.
all. I think it has to be flexible.
Right. My question is more of like, you got three kids and they grown up. Would love to hear from you. What are the, top three moments that you still cherish in your heart?
The top three, well, they all probably revolve around travel, and not because we were in amazing destinations, but I really cherish the times that we were all just having fun together.
Mhm.
Our last sort of big trip we did as a family, we went up North Queensland, and we hired a beautiful house, and we did the Daintree rainforest and some snorkeling, and it was just a really fun time. I just, we played board games, and we sort of did some hiking, and it was just fun and spontaneous. And I really look back fondly about that, because we were creating memories for the kids, and that, it's really nice the fact that I have older kids and they still want to, sometimes they want to hang out with us, not all the time, but I think that's a great, I really love that, and I think all my fondest memories revolve around those fun times that we spend together on holidays and vacations. Just doing silly things like doing a jigsaw puzzle together and
Okay.
laughing, or just putting TikTok on the TV and laughing at really stupid, funny videos. And I think they're the most fondest memories I have, and they're very vivid in my memory, and I think back to them often.
And how about the childhood when they were younger ones that you were still traveling, or is that part of your life all the time?
It is. We have
Yeah.
traveled a lot. Even when I remember when they were younger, we took them to Disneyland.
Oh,
My
okay.
youngest pretty much slept through that whole vacation because she was so overwhelmed with everything. So I have about 20 photos of her asleep in every aspect of Disneyland, which we still laugh at. So that was really good. But also, I think it was the fact that all my children did a lot of sports and dancing. So my eldest did Irish dancing. So I remember going to all the competitions with Irish dancing with her, and that was a lot of fun, and we used to
Yeah.
travel a fair bit with that. And then my middle child did a lot of art, so we used to go to art shows with her, and she did lots of painting. And
Mhm.
my son played tennis, so I remember, going to all the tennis competitions and being the ref,
Okay.
and at all the what do they call them, ref? What do they call them, ref umpires? Are they umpires at tennis?
Umpires, yeah, umpires
Umpire,
or
I can't.
referees, yeah.
I've lost track of it now. It was a long time ago. But I just remember all three of them had very, very different activities: Irish dancing,
Mm.
painting,
And then
tennis.
sport, okay.
Yeah, so they all three of them were really different.
Hmm.
And I just remember just spending time with them, each of their different activities. So, the Irish dancer wouldn't even think of going to the tennis, and my son who did tennis, he couldn't think of anything worse than going to the Irish dancing. And my daughter who
Mm.
paints, the other two were going, they can't paint. They can't paint at all. So I think just really enjoyed their diversity, their different
Mm.
interests.
Yeah, that's really an awesome way because three kids having three different activities, and then you are juggling from one to other, and the unity involved in all of them. So that should be like a good time jumping around to those activities. You touched over there on inclusion and diversity. I was like, wondering, having these kids and having these issues, have you ever felt that the community is not supporting that much, or do we have an issue with the inclusion? Anything in your life?
Yeah, look, touch wood, we have been very fortunate. And I think it goes back to our knowledge of the neurodiversity and autism and ADHD. I think it comes back to our knowledge,
Mm.
knowing, what works for our family, what doesn't. The only issues that we've had is really with the school and the education system.
Mm.
All of my children really struggled at school. I remember when I went to school, I really struggled
Mm.
with school. School just wasn't I enjoyed school. I loved the social aspect of it, but learning was just a horrendous feat for me.
Mm.
And I could see that reflected on my children. And I really had lots of issues trying to get the school to make accommodations and to really understand what autism is and really understand what ADHD is. And
Mm.
I found that a battle that I really fought for every year my kids went to school, both in primary school and secondary school. It was a hard slog.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more like, growing as we grow, the more awareness is happening, and then school and even community are providing more support. That's what I can see now. Because back in our Asian community, if you have an autistic child, we have a pressure saying that that is something wrong from your generation, and then your life, and at the same time handling them in the school is a real challenge, and they really back off and then keep them in maybe in homeschooling, or maybe even not having education, and then they will be categorizing them like a problem child, which is very unfortunate because the mindset that you having is clearly showing that individual is unique and having a very special skill set, and then you are not cultivating that by putting them into that problem child category. And I believe that's where the power that coming up with the work that you're doing, Anita, because you have that special, I would say, the grace from God showing to other people and standing firm and speak up for that inclusion. And then you showing that to your kids, and people around you will come and get advice and then, stand up with you. So, do you have any testimonies or like, any incidents from your autism directory people and that community that coming out of these type of things?
Testimonies of people who've used the directory and
Yeah,
help.
and then
Well,
helped.
yeah, I do. I get lots of stories each week. I get lots of stories from parents and carers who are struggling,
Mm,
and I wish I could help all of them. Unfortunately, I can't. That's why we
yeah.
work really well with an organisation called Amaze, and
Mm-hmm,
they run a telephone support line.
mm-hmm,
So, we direct a lot of people to the Amaze Autism Connect line because we really don't offer that on phone counselling or email counselling. But
yeah.
we've got lots of people who I've spoken to, and I go and talk to a lot of organisations and people who have used our directory and people I've met, and they say that there's the fact that we are talking about autism and neurodiversity in general in
Mm,
such an affirming way. We're not sort of making it all doom and gloom without sugarcoating the fact that parents and carers struggle. I
mm,
mean, we have to acknowledge that when you have a child who's autistic, there's an added layer of stress and anxiety and jobs that you have to do.
mm,
There may be therapies involved. It's the advocating that's really tiresome and hard
mm,
and really draining, and you can burn out as a carer. And we hear lots of stories that say that the fact that they can get information, quickly and easily has been a huge help to them. I
mm,
only spoke to someone yesterday who had found a company who could come in and do their cleaning in their
mm.
home for their,
Okay.
through their NDIS package, and just things that many might take it. I mean, we all hate cleaning, don't get me
Mm,
wrong. Nobody loves cleaning, but when you're navigating such a stressful world at times because you're advocating and you're coming across different views and it can be
yes.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
Things like that can be a huge and significant help. We also work with Carer Gateway, and I don't think many people know that there's free
Mm.
carer support out there for them that they can access and they should access.
Carer Gateway. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those two services I'm hearing first time, Anita. So it's good to, share with the listeners, and I'm sure that it will be useful for them. That's like, it's a separate world, and how to help them is really the, responsibility of our community, because it's a part of our community, and I would say part of the next generation, because as you mentioned, we need those type of people to do the better things. So I would like to check with you three rules that you can share with us, that the parents who got autism children. So what can be top three rule that they can utilize in their daily life?
Okay, first of all, recognize yourself as a carer. I cannot say that loud enough, Bismi. If you are a parent of an autistic child, or if you're a parent of a child with ADHD, or if you're a child, if you're a parent of a child with additional needs,
Hmm.
you are a carer and you need to access carer supports. They
Mm,
are free and they are there. And I have lots of parents that say to me, I don't need carer support yet. Everything's going fine. Everything's going fine until it's not. And then
mm,
when it's not going fine, you do not have the mental capacity, you do not have the strength nor the energy to put those supports in place. So
yeah.
that's my number one rule. It'll always be at the top of the list.
Okay.
You are a carer and register for supports, whether you think you need them or not, because you'd be surprised what's out there.
Mm,
The second rule I have would be to not take the information you read online at face value, because there's lots of information out there that'll tell you that things are terrible.
Mhm.
Now it's not going to be easy, and it's going to be stressful and overwhelming, but you need to find the right information. And that's where I'm trying to do my bit with living on the spectrum, to make sure that the
Mhm.
right information is out there. If you get on the internet, you will learn lots and lots of things about autism and ADHD that'll just make you feel horrible.
Mm.
So it's really important that you get the right information from people with lived experience. I think
Yeah.
that would be my second rule.
Mm.
My third rule in true ADHD style, because I have ADHD as well, has gone from my mind, but I will think of it. But
Mm.
I think it's sort of recognizing that everybody's brain type is different, whether they're neurotypical or neurodivergent. And
Mhm.
I think for us all to live in a kinder world, we just have to make sure that we're mindful that people might think different, and people's reactions to us are not a reflection on us directly. So, for
Mm.
example, there might be a day, Bisme, where I can talk to you and I'm jovial and we can have a conversation like that, but you might phone me tomorrow, or we might talk tomorrow, and I might not answer your texts or
Mm.
your emails. Or if you talk, I might give you one
And so
yes,
on.
no.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. That's not a reflection on you. That just means I've had a really sensory overwhelming day.
Mm.
And for the world to be a little bit kinder,
Mm.
I just need you not to take that personally and to go, okay,
Yeah.
people react in different ways, and it's not a personal reflection on me.
Okay. I think that's the top three rule that we always need to learn, because I do have special need child as well, and I always think, oh no, I can do my stuff, he's okay compared to other people. I don't consider myself as a carer, because I'm just doing as a mother, I'm doing that, but I'm
You
learning
are,
that.
you Bisme, you're a carer, and there's carer support out there. And the
Mm.
thing is, you don't know you need support until you get support. And then you think, wow, this has just taken a whole lot of pressure off me, and I can actually do self-care for myself. And
Mm.
then, when you fill your cup, then you have an abundance to give to not only your children, but to other people as well.
Okay, that's one thing personally for me to start looking at it. So thank you, Anita, for that. Okay, so it's too much information as a mom and a carer for me personally, and I'm sure that my listeners are taking that into serious mindset, because I believe everyone having some or other trouble happening in their life, and they don't know what to do or how to deal with that, and rather than being guilty about it or not speaking up about it, I believe everyone come up and get all the services available for us. So Anita, I would love to check with you my last question. What is the message for my listeners? So my listeners, especially on this channel, on my show, my tagline is spreading love, joy, and peace. So what's your message to my listeners?
Yep. Well, I always say the same message that, in the world, 10 to 15% of the population is neurodivergent. And wouldn't you want the people you love, the people you work with, or even yourself, wouldn't you want the world to be kinder and more inclusive? And just by opening the conversation and talking about neurodiversity and autism and ADHD, I think we're just making the world a little bit more kinder and inclusive. And that's all I ask.
Thank you. Thank you, Anita. That's from your heart, and I can feel that love. Thank you so much. So, Anita, thank you so much. I know that this Mother's Day, every Mother's Day, you will be having great time. And this is my same line for every mother's. It's not a day job, it's a lifelong job. We pray and bless you all with all the abundance and love and kindness in your life, Anita. And at the same time, let that light shine through that your registry that you're doing, that directory, helping other people, and conversations with the people around you is actually helping them as well, because they know that they are not alone. So thank you so much, and all the very best. I will be putting your details under this description. And then whoever listening to Anita and myself, please come and connect with Anita to find out more about it, to find out how we can spread that kindness in this world. So thank you, Anita, for your time.
Thanks, Wispy. Such a beautiful message. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you, my listeners, and to give gratitude to our show, actually giving a special offer for our oncoming musical concert. And I would encourage everyone come and join this magical musical concert by an Indian musician called Stephen Devasi. He is an awesome performer and musician and coming in July 21st. And if you are listening to me and seeing this video, you can put the promo code BP10 to get 10% off for the ticket. So come and enjoy. Music is power of healing, and that's where we are all spreading love, joy, and peace. Thank you so much. I will come back with another wonderful woman, mother, entrepreneur. See you. This is Dominus Nissi from Wayne FM.